How often do we watch the local news in the evening or we read an article about drug trafficking organizations and a big drug bust? Or maybe we hear about changes in our laws. How do I keep up with all these changes that are happening? How come we have all these people overdosing and dying from drugs today? Or maybe you have that evening where a friend calls or a neighbor calls to come over and have a cup of coffee and talk, and you hear the neighbor want to discuss their child who recently overdosed on drugs. And they say things like, I had no idea. No idea they were even experimenting with drugs. How did I miss all these signs and signals? That's why I'm here. Welcome to my channel, Street Smart Shawn, where I'm going to share my experiences over the last 41 years dealing with the domain of drug enforcement and drug prevention education. You see, I spent 29 years with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office in Columbus, Ohio. During my 29 years with the Sheriff's Office, I had the good fortune of working in every division within the Sheriff's Office. Worked in the jail division, working with inmates, and understanding that a lot of those inmates were arrested on drug-related charges, or maybe they were arrested on crimes against property, like retail theft or vehicle thefts, where drugs was the underlying cause of those crimes, or crimes against persons, assaults, robberies, homicides, where a lot of those were drug related as well. And also understanding and learning that a lot of people who were incarcerated in the county jail suffering from substance use disorder were also suffering from a mental health disorder. They co-occur so very often. Then I transferred to the patrol division, and now I'm working a patrol district. And what am I finding? The same people that I'm arresting on the street for these same crimes are the same people oftentimes that I was dealing with when I was working in the jail. It was like a revolving door. We weren't getting to the underlying cause and getting that treatment that they needed. And then I started to think about prevention education. Why the revolving door? We need to prevent this from ever occurring, guys. Then I transferred later on in my career to our narcotics division, where I was an undercover drug investigator, involved in all kinds of street level drug buys and local search warrants. And we were dismantling organizations that were local to our community. Then I really saw the big picture when I became drug task force commander in the central Ohio area. Now, what are we doing? Well, now we are dismantling and disrupting large scale organizations that originated all over the world. Title III wiretaps and those type of investigations where you really got that worldwide perspective on drugs. Then what happened? During my investigative career, I've been involved in thousands of undercover drug buys, hundreds of search warrants, both at the state and federal level. I've got to work with agencies and officers with those agencies from all levels, from township officers and city officers at the local level to county officers to state officers to federal agencies like the FBI and the DEA. Somewhere in between all of this is when I really found a passion in prevention education, where when I was in our drug unit, working the drug task force, we'd always get these phone calls from the public. Hey, can you send one of your guys next Wednesday to our church group or a parent group at our local high school to talk about drugs? So oftentimes I did those presentations. So I would go into a high school auditorium with a bunch of parents, talk about drugs for a couple hours, and people afterwards want to come up and talk. And I get the same questions and statements over and over again. I didn't know this was happening in our hometown. These drugs you're talking about, I thought that was somewhere else. I didn't think it was here in our town. Or I would hear a parent say, why didn't I know this information? I lost my one child to drugs a couple years ago. Had I known what you taught me tonight, maybe there's a chance I could have saved my child. Hearing these stories just would crush you. And you quickly found out and started to realize, you know, this could be anybody. This could be one of my kids. This could be one of my friends' kids. No one's immune to this drug crisis. So that's when I really found a passion for drug and education and prevention. So Talk a little bit about Columbus. It is a city of about 938,000 people, so just under a million, making it the largest city in the state of Ohio and the 15th largest city in the nation. The metropolitan area is about 2.25 million, and then just less than 1.25 million is the Franklin County area. It was towns like Columbus, Dayton, Portsmouth, Ohio, cities like Huntington, West Virginia, and cities in Kentucky, where the actual latest wave of the drug epidemic started. And I was in law enforcement the entire time of this progress. Tell you how it all kind of really started. It started with a drug called Oxycontin, where users quickly found out that all you had to do was crush that Oxycontin up and snort it. You got all 12-hour relief at one time. Everyone seemed like they wanted to get their hands on Oxycontin at the time. So we had all these pain management clinics start to pop off, pill mills, dirty doctors, dirty pharmacists running them. And we were investigating these pill mills at the time. And what did we find out? We found out what a true scam this all was. It was just legalized drug dealing from a pharmacy. That's what this was. So what do we do in law enforcement? Shut a lot of these pain management clinics down. And in the process of shutting these pain management clinics down, you know what we inadvertently did? We started the next wave of the drug epidemic. Why? Well, people couldn't get their hands on the pills anymore, so they switched to a street drug called heroin. Why heroin? Same family. They're all opioid, do the same thing. So we switched from pills to heroin. What happened? Deaths skyrocketed. Why? Well, there's no quality control in street drugs. So you didn't know how much you were getting versus the pills. You know how many milligram were in there. So we really started to see a spike in deaths when people switched from pills to heroin. The next wave started right around my retirement in 2014 when we started to see fentanyl get mixed in with heroin and hit our drug supply. This is when deaths really skyrocketed. Why? Well, fentanyl is a much more powerful drug than heroin is, and that's why we saw drug deaths skyrocket again. But guys, things have changed so much. The lines are all blurred now when it comes to drugs, and we have so much polydrug use and so many different drugs mixed in with one another. You really don't know what you're getting now. And that is causing a lot of overdoses and a lot of deaths as well. So really, towards the end of my career at 2014 is when fentanyl changed the game, and it's still changed the game till today. Now, why Ohio? Why has Ohio been such a hotbed for drug trafficking organizations? Well, let's look at Columbus. Columbus sits right in the center of the state at 70 and 71, one of the major crossroads of the United States. Where does Dayton, Ohio sit? About 45 minutes, an hour west of Columbus. Where does it sit? Right at 70 and 75, another major crossroads of America. The drug business is no different than any other business, guys. It's all about location, location, location. So after my retirement, what have I been doing? Because, yes, I can imagine some of you are thinking, wait a minute, this guy retired 12 years ago? What the heck can he tell me about drugs today? Because they changed so much. Well, ever since I retired, I've been doing drug prevention education programs, mostly in Ohio, but really we've been invited to do presentations all over the nation. We've been in California, state of Washington, Texas, New York, Florida. We've been all over the United States doing prevention education programs because there's such a need for it. Not only in Ohio, but clear across the country. So about 10 years ago, I really got a great opportunity, and that was to work with a national program for drug intelligence. So I've been working drug intelligence with different counterparts all across the nation for about the last 10 years. And guys, that is what really helps me to stay current. So hopefully I continue that relationship with this program and this organization and really keep giving you as much of the cutting edge information I could possibly give you guys. So same problem, different end to it, guys. So I worked enforcement for a long time, and I think enforcement matters, but the prevention side really takes us to that next step, and that's what I'm trying to do now. So why did I start this channel? Well, there's a lot of different reasons. I talked about a few of them already, but nobody's immune from this drug crisis. None of us, I don't care if you're the cop's kid or the preacher's daughter, none of us are immune to drugs. I have my own family members that have struggled with opioid addiction, my own family members that have struggled with alcohol addiction. None of us and none of our families are immune to this. And for those of us that, have that old attitude that can't be my kid, can't be my neighborhood. Guys, it's just not that way anymore. I don't care what neighborhood you're in or what school district your kids go to. The issues with drugs are there, guys. So what do I see out there? Same thing you guys do. I mean, I don't know how many nights that I can't sleep, and what do? I pick my phone up and I start scrolling through and watching all kinds of different videos. And then next thing I know, I look up and 2 hours have passed. I've been watching these video after video after video, and I'm thinking, you know what? I've been asked many times by many different people to start a YouTube channel, to start social media where I can reach a wider audience who needs this information. So finally, I broke down and did it. And I broke down and did it because watching all these videos, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm watching all of these crazy videos over and over again, not really getting much out of it. So why don't I start a channel where maybe we can educate people and maybe even save a life along the way? And then to think about all the different years I've been doing presentations in different auditoriums, or maybe I'm doing a Zoom presentation or a Teams presentation. You can only fit so many people into that. You know, the virtual room or the physical auditorium, you can only fit so many people. So why not try and reach a wider audience through these type of mechanisms? So that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about what this channel is about. If you want to contact me, there's my personal cell phone number, personal email address. If you want to schedule a program for your business, or you want to schedule a program for a community or online, I can work with you on getting that scheduled. Thank you guys for watching, and let's stay street smart.